the U.S. Senate, the new kid on the block is Vermont's Peter Welch, who's moved over, of course, after 8 terms in the House. This week, Welch was critical of the new Republican House majority's first bill to defund the Internal Revenue Service, which Welch said would let high earners who cheat get away with it. In a divided Congress, Welch tells us about his impressions on his first days on the job. We all saw the Republicans struggle mightily to elect a speaker, and now any single member can bring a no confidence vote against him. What does that tell us about the likelihood of getting anything controversial through both the House and the Senate going forward?
Well, very ominous. And Speaker McCarthy had essentially to make huge concessions and relinquish some of the important authority for a speaker to make the institution work. And what this does is bodes dangerously for what's ahead when we have to deal with very contentious issues like the debt ceiling, like getting a budget passed. You know, the heart of getting things done is there's got to be compromise. And what you saw in that speaker selection on the Republican side was a lot of the radical element of the party essentially demanding to have a weakened speaker.
Well, is the debt ceiling most concerning to you going? I mean, there's so much that could go wrong.
Well, the debt ceiling is about paying bills that we've already incurred. It's not about authorizing new spending. And you have to pay your bills. It would be like a family getting a mortgage, buying a house, and then deciding they didn't feel like making the payment. That doesn't end well. So I do worry about that. But, you know, we're going to do our best and work hard. Of course, I'm in the Senate now, where I think we're going to have a much more strong opportunity to work together on a bipartisan basis.
Well, let's talk about your arrival in the Senate. I'm wondering, is it easier to get a cabinet member to Vermont when you're a member of the U.S. Senate? I mean, that didn't take long.
You know, you'd have more authority. And of course, I succeed a person who is a giant in Vermont and a giant in the Senate, and that's Patrick Leahy. And my hope is that I'm going to be able to do everything possible so Vermont's voice is heard. And I think as a member of the Senate, I have an opportunity, being in the majority, to be an effective voice for Vermont there.
You are still awaiting committee assignments.
That's correct.
Do you have a wish list? Have you submitted your hope?
Well, I've talked to Senator Schumer, and so I'm hopeful. And I continue to have an interest in all of the areas that I've been involved in: healthcare costs, affordability issues, national security and foreign policy, and agriculture. So we'll see. But in the Senate, whatever committee assignment you get, you still have an opportunity to be very, very active on the issues you care about. And in the Senate, it does appear that there's much more opportunity for bipartisan cooperation on some of these big issues that we have to face. So I'm really hopeful that the Senate is going to be a place where I can make a real difference.
More of a difference?
Yes.
What did you hear from Vermont dairy farmers this week?
Well, the challenge for dairy farming, the challenge for agriculture is never ending, but the determination of our farmers is never ending as well. And what they're saying is we need good, solid policies that are going to help them be able to sustain staying on the farm. And that means we've got an opportunity in this farm bill to listen to them and try to get sustainable policies that make it possible for them to fight another day.
What have you noticed? So I realize it's only been a few days, but what have you noticed that are the key differences between being a member of the House and part of the U.S. Senate? You have more money to spend for your staff and offices and stuff like that, I suppose, but what else?
Well, I think there's two things. First of all, of course, it's smaller, but what that means on a practical level is that it's more intimate, and you're in a position to have much closer relationships with colleagues, both on the Republican and Democratic side. That's number one. Number two, in the Senate, you really do have to get bipartisan cooperation to get big things done. That's not the case so much in the House, where it's really strictly majority rule. So those two things, the intimacy, the smallness that goes along with that, and then the bipartisan requirement to get things done. So it creates an incentive and opportunity for me to work with both parties to address climate change, affordability, protecting our democracy. So I'm very hopeful that this will be a good place for me to help Vermont.
We joked about how, perhaps some people arrive in the Senate and feel like a big shot. You're not going to change, are you, in terms of your accessibility back home, stuff like that?
You know what's so wonderful? In Vermont, when I was a member of Congress, I represented the whole state. I was Peter. And you know what? In the Senate, same folks in Vermont, and my name is Peter. So, no, I'm thrilled. And I got sworn in, came home to Vermont, went to Rutland on Monday, here in St. Albans on Wednesday. And if you want me in your neighborhood, give me a call.
Senator Welch, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.